Hello everyone, welcome to PSIR UPSC 2026 Crash Course series. Only on this particular channel. I hope that you are doing well. Today we'll be talking about something which is very fascinating and interesting to all of you to listen to it. Why? Because it is all about US hegemony. This is one of the important area which is also mentioned in our syllabus very clearly that we have to learn about US hegemony. Hegemony is nothing but when you try to influence a particular country by force. Okay, you use force so that the country should obey. The country should become what? In line of your policies. The country should march only, or you can say that rally behind you. That is called as what? Hegemony. The only thing that you have to remember is that okay, it is a forceful acceptance of dictats. And if you don't obey, what will happen is, you know that what kind of sanctions US and other countries, the powerful countries, generally put on developing countries. Okay, I have seen for the very first time that I do remember that doctrine of lapse was there. Okay, this particular strategy was innovative economic policy or annexation policy, you can say, was invented by the British government at the time, and they have taken award on. They have taken many, like obviously the Jhansi they have taken from the Rani Lakshmabai under the doctrine of lapse only, and more importantly that they have taken award on the pretext of maladministration. Remember this point here. Okay, that's why US hegemony does not restrict to only what military operation. So does not restrict to only of terrorism, does not restrict to only of what global peace. Now you just see that what they have done with Venezuela. Okay, what they've done with Venezuela on the pretext of that Venezuelan countries or Venezuelan government is actually promoting narcotics or the drugs import in USA country. They have just taken over the president itself. So a country which is a terrorist sponsored country like Pakistan, or a country which is building up nuclear weapons, or a country which is annexing like Pakistan is there, which is sponsoring what terrorism. We have what Iran, which is building what nuclear weapons along with North Korea. We have Russia, which is annexing the neighboring countries and which are democratic and independent states. So before, what was used to happen is USA used to put a lot of military actions on economic sanctions, etc. on these countries. Okay, if they are doing that, okay, that is called as what? Hegemony. You accept what we say, otherwise face the war. Okay, now US is also going into that nitty-gritty, like even on the pretext of actually giving what drug supplying in their own country. They have taken over what? Venezuela president also. So this is the extent of hegemony that US is actually doing with regard to the various nations, and even dictating the terms even to what? India, not to buy from Russia, not to buy from Iran Chabahar port, which we are building together with Iran authorities. That also right now stands still. There is nothing is there on it. Okay, so you can just see that there are a few instances I have listed out where you can clearly see that there is a complete hegemony is being muzzled by the US government across the nations, okay, which are doing which in the pretext of US is actually threat to the global peace and or the global order. Right here we have the beautiful question with regard to the examination. Examine the nature of US hegemony over various countries in the contemporary world order. Discuss its political, economic, and strategic implications, particularly for the global south and India. How beautifully this question has been framed. Let us discuss it. Okay. How to do the approach? This is a very important part that all students should take a notice of it and should open your ears and listen to me very properly. What student must focus before writing the answer? Decode the directive. First of all, you have to decode the directive. The verb is examine. So you have to investigate causes, talk about features, and what could be the consequences. Stay analytical, not descriptive. Means you have to deduce things. If this happens, this will take place. If this is happening, this will happen. Like that. That is called as what? Analytical. You just cannot just write that US have done war on Iran along with Israel because Iran is actually promoting nuclear producing nuclear weapons. This is called as descriptive. It's not about that. What is the Iran nuclear power plan will lead to? Will lead to, and that lead to how it is going to affect the global south and world order and the interest of the America. That is also important. That is actually important. Lead to is important. Now don't write just descriptive. That is more important. Define hegemony very clearly. Take the political thinkers who have defined it, that you have to also do that one. Use a three-dimensional frame, like political, economic, strategic implication. Add global south plus India's lens as a question of demands. Balance both sides, shows US dominance and the pushback with regard to the US is dominating because it is the largest GDP country and also the high tech country and also the most developed and advanced and the powerful country. But we have the pushbacks that we can push back the US if it is forwarding in the form of what? Multipolarity. BRICS, China rise, de-dollarization, all that you have to discuss. We have to conclude it with a very forward-looking end. It's a balanced view. Rule-based order you have to talk about. Strategic autonomy should not be disturbed of any countries. India's hedging strategy is what? That is also very important. India believes in NAM and India believes in what? Sovereignty. India believes in restoration of what? Indigenous rights of the citizens. India believes in restoration of what? The country's integrity and dignity as per se as a whole. Okay, these are the aspects that one has to definitely cover in order to make sure that they are writing a very good answer. Okay, now let us go ahead. Okay, model answer is this one. How beautifully this is written. 150 words, so sweet and simple. Okay. So we started with the answer with US hegemony refers to the preponderant influence of United States across military, economy, technology and culture domains since 1991. Joseph Nye terms it as a mix of hard power and a soft power sustained by a global consent and institutions. Oh my god, this definition of the answer is... So you can see here how beautifully this is given. Okay. So US hegemony is also been consented by global consent, and it means what? Many of the countries think that yes, US is a very great power, and many of the institutions are actually funded or sponsored by the majority of them are sponsored, and with the largest share US holds in many of the international institutions. Okay, and also have UNSC also, right? Fine. Here Super Veto Power is also there. So US hegemony is not just a illusionary and imaginary. That is what is also important to understand here. It is sustained so by global consent and institution. So dimensions and implications. Political. Promotion of liberal democracy and regime change often eroded sovereignty of weaker states. Means US hegemony what has been led to? US said that Iraq is actually Saddam Hussein is actually having weapons of mass destruction. So and the people does not have a liberties and democratic setup was not there. He was completely autocratic altogether throughout his lifetime. He was only ruling for years and years. So there is no liberalism for it in the country with regard to the citizen. No liberty, no rights are given. Democratic setup is not there. Okay, and also possessing weapons of mass destruction that can damage and hamper the global peace. Okay, so for that reasons, what has done is USA has actually attacked what? Iraq. So Iraq invasion took place, which has actually led to eroded sovereignty of weaker states. So means those who cannot stand the US dictates or term, obviously US will invade them and make them completely weaker, and this the complete loss of a country's sovereignty is there because just because they are weaker. Okay, if you talk about economic, dollar dominance everywhere, IMF, World Bank conditionalities are majorly outcomes of what? US policies only. Dollar dominance is there. Our country is also exchange rate is linked to dollar only. Dollar is more sought in our country than rupee. If anybody tells you I want to give dollar or I want to give rupee, then you will say that oh give me dollar. So that's how they have made the dollar dominance. IMF, World Bank conditionalities will suit the US interest. SWIFT based sanctions are there from Iran, Russia. Weaponized interdependence hurting the global south. Okay, hurting the global south. So weaponizing the interdependence, a very good word here. Okay, if suppose India is dependent upon Russia with regard to the oil. So US is actually what is doing, it is asking India not to buy from Russia. So the interdependence of one country with another country has also been weaponized by USA. You have some problem with Russia, you don't buy, you do sanctions. Okay, you have NATO, you have other organizations that can do, but you are forcing us just because we are dependent upon what? On that country. So you can understand that how US is playing the games here, weaponizing the interdependence. Okay, which is nothing but hurting the global south, which is a bunch of lots of what weaker and developing nations, which requires a lot of dependence, a lot of bilateral relations with developed nations. Then if you talk about strategic, NATO is being expanded to such an extent that it is coming very close to the Russia, which Russia is not going to like it. India Pacific alliances that they have done in order to make sure that their hegemony remains sustained throughout the world. So we have a quad with USA, we have Japan, we have Australia, we have India, we have already a quad with them, and AUKUS is also there. Australia, United Kingdom, USA is also there, and 750 plus overseas bases. Oh my God, contains rivals like China and Russia. To contain rivals like China and Russia, to contain their power, to contain their geopolitical what influence on many other countries, 750 plus naval bases that USA is having in other countries. Oh my God, this is completely, like, you can say that they can launch any attack from any part of the world. Now we have the cultural tech, Hollywood, big tech, Marvels, VFX, the English internet, Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. have shaped the global norms. A soft power mode. Particularly with the help of these movies, they try to make sure that we fall for their culture, we embrace their culture, we follow their lifestyle, we become like them, we think like them. Okay, our women will be how they should be empowered, they get it from them. Okay, how men should be there, that they get it from there. Like, you know that what kind of movies they actually promote very good gender equalities. So that's a good actually the reform that we can have, the influence we can have, but many other things are there which are not even which are not sought. Like porn industry is very common there. Here Indian porn industry is getting what very elaborated, okay, in a very larger manner. So they have the cultural and tech influence on us, occupied the complete internet and entertainment spaces. If you talk about for India, defense pacts like EMO, Comasa with USA, tech ties like I said, counter China balancing, yet India preserves strategic own autonomy. So what India will do, the agreements with regard to the BRICS, SCO, Russia, energy links. So we are actually very much sovereign and we are preserving that we our autonomy has to be ensured all through. Clear. Now, if we talk about the conclusion, how beautiful it has been written, while US hegemony underrode global stability. Okay, means global stability they are underlining. Then only things are happening. The rise of China, BRICS Plus, and de-dollarizations signals a very good shift towards multipolarity, that we are not going to listen to you, Mr. America, Mr. Trump, that we also have a lot of other friends with which we have made blocks and we are going to pursue the agenda of that particular block. India must leverage this transition through multi-alignment, which India has been doing. India has recently, Prime Minister Modi ji has went to 5-day nation visit. Finland we have covered, Sweden we have covered, Norway we have covered, Abu Dhabi we have covered, and Italy we have covered. And recently India, Indonesia, India, Netherlands, India, Denmark, all of that is also being happening. So India is having anyhow multi-alignment with many of the countries, and we are actually favoring only the rules-based order. Rules should based, okay, the order in the world should be based on the rules. You just cannot go, USA just cannot go and attack what Iran, cannot go and attack what Venezuela, cannot go and so where is the rule, what rules you are following. If you don't follow these rules, tomorrow Russia will do, then tomorrow China will do, then India will also do. Then what is the, if there is no rules, it is always considered as tyrannical, arbitrary, and by forceful or coercive way. Getting my point here? Yes, if you're writing this much, you guess a lots of good amount of time will be saved and you will be very happy. So you can see that I have taken all of this from various sources, like from Hindu newspaper, the Indian Express, Business Standard. We have taken from all of this keywords that you have to remember in your examination point of view. That please don't forget about it. Okay, hegemony. What the meaning of hard power, soft power? Joseph Nye, Gramsci. You can liberal order, unipolarity, multipolarity, Bretton Woods, dollar dominance, SWIFT sanctions, Quad, AUKUS, NATO, India-Pacific, strategic autonomy, multi-alignment. All of these are what a part of what you can say that you have to remember it whenever you are going to write any question with regard to US hegemony. I hope this is all clear to you. I'll be waiting for all of you in the class and test series and mentorship program. Do join my classes and write such a beautiful answers. As I have told you that I will give you one question and I will be seeing you on the Zoom directly till you don't finish it off, till you don't start the introduction. You have to write something. I'll be looking at you. Okay, obviously you are doing that in front of me. I'll be looking at you but not the video open, but I can see you. You cannot see me like that, so that you to make you comfortable. But the things will happen in live sessions. In live session, just like in a feeling of that you are in the mains examination and invigilator is watching you. The same experience I'm going to give you for the rest 1 year of your complete essays, mentorship and classes. So make sure that you don't miss the opportunity to learn from someone who is having great amount of experience and a very several amount of experience with regard to teaching a UPSC and state PSC. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care.